So at the end of the last episode, we talked about people who can't have children, and there are things that can help them potentially do that.
Mm-hmm.
That
Right.
exist.
Sure.
Because of technological advances.
Sure.
So, one of those things is not a technological advancement,
Right.
but it is adoption.
Uh-huh.
We'll get to the other things later.
Okay.
But is adoption a form of fruitful multiplying?
Yeah, and I think kind of where we were ending last week's episode kind of hits this as well,
Okay.
right? Because obviously, no, you're not having your own natural children,
Mm-hmm.
but you are raising a child, and you are raising one who has an image of God, and you're, hopefully, it's whether, and I'll say, I guess, from two parts. From a Christian's perspective, you're raising that child, and you're hoping they're going to continue to be a light and an image bearer of God to the world, that they, would testify of the Lord and those kind of things. But even for non-Christians, and they're adopting and they're raising their children, like, that doesn't need to be minimalized, and it doesn't need to be put into a situation where they think, well, this is not as legitimate as if we had had our own kids,
Okay.
So yeah, I think again, principally Genesis 1:26 through 28, connecting the image of God with being fruitful, multiply, so the image of God would fill the earth. So yeah, so I think it is a form of being fruitful and multiplying.
Even though it's a person that already existed.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's what I was saying. Obviously, you're not giving natural birth to them, but you are raising them.
Okay.
And so yeah, and you're the one that's going to be investing and pouring into that child. And so I think you should feel comfortable making that connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if I adopt, tick the fruitful multiply box
Yes.
on the Jesus scorecard.
There's no Jesus scorecard.
Okay.
But you can check that box if you'd like.
Okay. People who marry into already existing children,
Mm-hmm.
is that fruity multiplying?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing as we talked
Okay.
about with adoption.
All right.
Yeah. So obviously you're not naturally, part of that process that's allowing for that child to be conceived and then come to this earth. However, at the same time, you are raising that child. And so I think, again, you are raising one who can be an image bearer of God on the earth. And so, yeah, same thing for adoption. You make the connection there, principally. Yeah.